I've been married to Amanda for 5 years. We met in college and fell in love quickly. She was everything I thought I wanted, smart, beautiful, and charming in ways that felt like magic. Over time, however, our connection started to feel less like a fairy tale and more like a script that had gone stale. We both got busy with our careers, me with my job in sales and her with her marketing firm, and the little things that once kept the spark alive turned into routine checklists. It started with the little signs. I'd come home after a long day, ready to unwind and share a meal, only to find her glued to her phone or scrolling through social media. She would sometimes laugh out loud at something on her screen, but when I asked what was so funny, she'd just wave me off with a dismissive, "Oh, just a meme." I tried to shrug it off, thinking I was just being paranoid. But deep down, I felt a shift, a distance that gnawed at me. Then came the night I caught her. I had just returned from a business trip, and Amanda seemed off, though I couldn't quite place it. She was acting unusually fidgety, and I noticed her texting furiously while I was unpacking my suitcase. It was late, and I was exhausted, but curiosity gnawed at me. I slipped out of the bedroom to grab a drink, and that's when I saw it, Amanda's phone lying face up on the kitchen counter. The screen lit up with a message notification, and my heart raced as I approached. The message was from a guy named Jake. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, babe. I miss you." My stomach twisted. I should have just walked away, but I was rooted in place, my instincts screaming at me to pay attention. Suddenly, Amanda appeared in the doorway, her eyes landing on her phone. The look on her face was priceless, a mix of panic and guilt as she rushed forward to grab it, but not before I saw her delete the text right in front of me. "What are you doing?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady, but it came out more accusatory than I intended. "Oh, it's nothing. Just some spam," she said with a dismissive wave, her voice slightly higher than normal. "You know how it is, I get a ton of junk messages." "Spam? From who?" I pressed, my heart racing as I felt my anger bubbling beneath the surface. She hesitated, clearly caught off guard by my question. "Just, I don't know. You know how annoying telemarketers can be," she stammered, but her eyes were darting around, avoiding mine. I felt the blood rush to my head. There was no way she was telling the truth. Among the wild thoughts racing through my mind, I could feel my heart sinking. I needed to confront her, to unravel this web of lies that she'd spun around me. And so, with anger and confusion swirling within me, I pushed back. I demanded to know who Jake was and why she was texting him. Her reaction was immediate. She got defensive, accusing me of being paranoid and controlling, but I could see the cracks in her facade. As we argued, she threw out excuses that felt rehearsed. "He's just a coworker. We were working late on a project." My mind was racing. A coworker, the words felt hollow. I remembered the times she'd come home late, claiming she was stuck in meetings or had to finish up work at the office. Now those excuses began to feel like a cruel joke, and I felt the weight of betrayal settle in my gut. I was devastated. The woman I trusted, the one I thought I knew, had been hiding this from me. The anger simmered beneath the surface, but more than that, I felt a deep sadness wash over me. I didn't want to believe it was happening. I didn't want to accept that our love story was unraveling right before my eyes. As I tried to process everything, Amanda continued to deflect and deny. She claimed it was all in my head and that I was overreacting. But the truth was, the evidence was right in front of us. I felt a bitter mix of betrayal and heartbreak. I wanted to scream, to shake her and demand answers, but I was also terrified of where this confrontation might lead. What do you do when everything you thought you knew comes crumbling down? I had a decision to make, and it weighed heavily on my heart. I couldn't just let this go. I needed to find a way to confront the reality of what was happening, no matter how painful it would be. The confrontation escalated quickly, like a fire fueled by gasoline. Amanda's excuses only served to deepen my sense of betrayal. "We were just working late," she repeated, her voice rising defensively. I could see the cracks in her confidence. She shifted her weight from one foot to the other, avoiding my gaze. The way she avoided the truth was as clear as day. I was standing at the precipice of an emotional cliff, staring into an abyss that threatened to swallow me whole. "Just a coworker. I saw the way you deleted his message. If it was nothing, why hide it?" I shot back, my voice edged with a mixture of anger and disbelief. The room felt charged with tension, a palpable weight hanging in the air between us, and I could almost hear my heart pounding in my ears. She rolled her eyes, an all too familiar gesture that struck me as wholly dismissive. "You're being dramatic. It's just a few texts. You're reading way too much into this." I had to swallow hard to keep my composure. "Dramatic? Amanda, this isn't just a few texts. This is about trust. Respect. I don't know who this guy is or what's going on, but it feels wrong. It feels like you're hiding something." Her face tightened as she tried to maintain control of the situation. "You're twisting everything. You're supposed to trust me. I can't believe you're doing this right now." I could feel the frustration boil inside me. Trust. How could I trust her when she was standing right there, lying through her teeth? "Trust is earned, Amanda," I replied, my voice steady but pained. "And you've shattered that trust." As the argument raged on, I felt my emotions swinging wildly. Anger morphed into sadness, and sadness ebbed into disbelief. I was trapped in a whirlwind of feelings, each one more suffocating than the last. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I turned to leave, needing space to think, to breathe, to process the reality of the situation. Amanda's voice followed me down the hallway, laced with desperation. "Don't walk away from me. We can talk about this." But I needed silence. I stepped outside into the cool night air, feeling the tension slip away just a little. I leaned against the porch railing, staring into the darkness, searching for clarity in the chaos unfolding inside. As I stood there, my mind reeled with memories, the laughter we shared, the small moments of tenderness that once seemed so solid. How did it come to this? I felt like a fool, like I had been blind to the signs for far too long. In that moment, I realized I couldn't ignore my gut feeling any longer. I resolved to dig deeper into this Jake character. If Amanda wasn't going to be honest with me, then I would find out the truth myself. I needed to confront this head-on. Over the next few days, I watched Amanda closely, looking for any signs of the deception I suspected. The more I observed her, the more inconsistencies I noticed. She left the house more often, claimed she was working late, and her phone was glued to her hand. Each time she received a text, she would excuse herself, leaving me with a gnawing feeling in my gut. It was during one of those nights, while she was in the shower, that I saw the opportunity I needed. Her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, and before I could second guess myself, I grabbed it. I felt a jolt of adrenaline as I entered her passcode, something I'd never had the urge to do before. I held my breath, the screen lighting up to reveal a series of texts from Jake, each one more intimate than the last. "Can't wait to feel you again, one read. You make me feel alive." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I felt sick. How long had this been going on? My heart raced as I scrolled through the messages, confirming everything I feared. Pictures, flirty exchanges, plans to meet up, all of it painted a clear picture of betrayal. Just then I heard the shower turn off and panic surged through me. I quickly set the phone back down on the counter and stepped back, my heart pounding. What could I say? Would I confront her again? If she found out I had gone through her phone, it would trigger a whole new explosion of denial and lies. As she emerged from the bathroom, hair damp and wrapped in a towel, I had to keep my composure. My heart felt heavy as I prepared for the next step. I had to confront her again, but it had to be different this time. I needed to gather evidence, to prepare myself for the storm that was about to unfold. I knew I had to take my time with this. The emotional impact of what I had just stumbled upon was overwhelming, and I was still trying to process the betrayal. But I also had to think strategically. It wasn't just about proving her infidelity anymore. It was about how I would deal with the fallout and what it meant for our future together. The stakes were high, and I was ready to fight for my dignity. I knew that this wouldn't end without a showdown, and the thought of that gave me both fear and determination. In the coming days, I would prepare myself to confront Amanda with the truth, and I would make sure she understood the consequences of her actions. Days passed, and I was caught in a whirlwind of emotions: anger, betrayal, and an overwhelming sense of sadness. I felt like a stranger in my own home as I watched Amanda go about her daily routine, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath the surface. Each laugh seemed hollow, each casual touch felt tainted. I was determined to gather more evidence, but I also needed to find a way to confront her that wouldn't put me on the defensive. I started keeping a journal, documenting every suspicious behavior, every late-night excuse, and every less-than-innocent text. My heart sank as I wrote about the way she'd giggle when her phone buzzed, how she'd rush to the bathroom to answer a call, and the way she'd seem distant, lost in her thoughts. It felt like I was living in a suspense movie, watching an actress perform a role that I no longer recognized. One evening, after yet another fake work event, she came home late. I was sitting in the living room, trying not to let my emotions take control. I'd been waiting, pacing, rehearsing what I wanted to say. When she walked in, she looked flustered, her hair a bit disheveled and her makeup slightly smudged, as if she had been caught off guard. "Hey, babe, sorry I'm late." A few of us decided to grab drinks after the meeting. "Drinks, huh?" I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "Seems like your meetings always involve drinks these days." She laughed it off, but I could see the flicker of irritation in her eyes. "Come on, don't start with that again. You know I work hard." "That's not the issue, Amanda. It's the fact that you're coming home later and later and it feels like you're hiding something, like you're not being honest with me." Her smile faltered, and for a moment I thought I saw the facade crack. "You're being paranoid," she shot back, but I could sense a hint of uncertainty in her voice. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of what I was about to do. "I need you to tell me the truth. What's really going on? Is there someone else?" For a moment, silence hung heavy between us. Her eyes widened in surprise, and I could see her calculating her response. "Of course not. You know I love you. Do you, though?" The question slipped out before I could stop myself, because it sure doesn't feel that way. She took a step back, and I could feel the tension spike. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I've seen the texts, Amanda. I know. About Jake, I saw how you deleted his message. You can't keep lying to me." The look on her face was priceless, shock mingled with fear. "What? You went through my phone? That's so low. Is it low, or is it just trying to protect myself from being hurt?" I countered, my voice rising. "You're the one who's been lying to me, not the other way around. This isn't about my trust issues, it's about your infidelity." Her eyes darted, searching for an escape route, but I wouldn't let her. I was done letting her spin this narrative where I was the bad guy. "You need to explain yourself. You can't just brush this under the rug." "I told you he's just a coworker," she insisted, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. "We were working on a campaign together and it got a little flirtatious, but it meant nothing." "Nothing?" I scoffed, my anger bubbling over. "You think I'm going to believe that? You were planning to meet him, and I saw the way you talked to him, like he's more than just a colleague. If this is just work, why hide?" Her face turned red and frustration flashed in her eyes. "You're being unreasonable. I can't believe you accuse me of cheating. This is ridiculous." She turned away, arms crossed, trying to put up a wall between us. "Ridiculous? What's ridiculous is your behavior. I'm not going to stand here and let you deny the truth. If you think this can just be swept under the rug because you say it's nothing, you're wrong." Finally, she turned to face me again, tears welling in her eyes, but they didn't soften my heart. "You're tearing us apart over a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" I echoed, incredulity spilling from my lips. "What's a misunderstanding is believing that you can keep lying and expect everything to stay the same." Her voice dropped, the fight starting to fade as the gravity of the situation sank in. "What do you want from me?" "I want the truth, Amanda. If this is really over, if you're really with him, then let's not waste any more time pretending. I deserve to know what I'm dealing with." The air was thick with tension as we stared at each other, the silence all-consuming. My heart raced as I braced myself for the answer, whatever it might be. I was going to end it," she finally admitted, her voice trembling. "I just didn't know how to tell you." "End what, Amanda? The affair or our marriage?" She hesitated, her gaze dropping to the floor. "Both, I guess. I don't know what I want anymore." Those words hit me like a punch to the gut. I had expected a fight, a denial, maybe even a claim that I was overreacting, but this was a revelation that shattered any hope I had left. I felt my heart sink further as the reality of our situation hit me like a tidal wave. "Then we're at a crossroads, aren't we?" I said, my voice now steadier. "It's time to decide what comes next." The emotional weight of this moment hung in the air, and I realized that our marriage was now an open wound, one that would take time and effort to heal, if it could heal at all. As I stood there, knowing that every word exchanged took us further down a path I never wanted to walk. I felt a strange mix of fear and determination. The confrontation had revealed painful truths, but I also knew that I couldn't let this moment define me. I had to decide what I wanted for myself moving forward, and it would be a struggle, one filled with hard choices that I would have to face head-on. In the days that followed the confrontation, the atmosphere in our house felt like walking through a minefield. Every interaction was charged with unspoken words and raw emotions. Amanda and I were like two strangers living under the same roof, navigating a landscape littered with past affection and present betrayal. I had never felt more alone. After her admission about the affair, I spent countless nights wrestling with my thoughts. I replayed our conversations, dissecting each word, trying to find the truth buried within her lies. The emotional impact was suffocating. I felt like I was stuck in a loop of anger and heartbreak, trapped by the memories of what we once had and the stark reality of what we were becoming. On one particularly restless night, I lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, contemplating the future. The weight of what Amanda had confessed hung heavily over me. I still loved her in a way, but trust had evaporated like morning mist, leaving behind a chilling emptiness. I needed clarity, and I knew that meant making some difficult decisions. The next evening, after yet another silence-filled dinner, I approached Amanda in the living room. She was curled up on the couch, scrolling through her phone, lost in her world. I cleared my throat and she glanced up, her expression unreadable. "We need to talk," I said, trying to keep my tone neutral even though my heart raced. "About what?" she replied, her voice laced with hesitation. "About us. About what we're going to do moving forward." She set her phone down, and for a moment I thought I saw a glimmer of hope in her eyes, hope that we could salvage what was left of our relationship. But that quickly disappeared, replaced by apprehension. "Do we have to? I mean, can't we just pretend everything's normal for a little while longer?" I shook my head, feeling frustration bubble up again. "Pretending won't solve anything, Amanda. We need to face this head-on. I can't keep living in limbo." She sighed, running her fingers through her hair. "Okay, what do you want to say? I want to know if you really want to fix this, if you're actually committed to working on our marriage, or if you're just waiting for things to end." Her response was slow, thoughtful. "I don't want to lose you, but I don't know if I can get past what I did. And I don't know if I can trust you again," I admitted, my voice trembling with the weight of those words. "You've hurt me in a way I never thought possible. You didn't just cheat, you broke our bond. Trust isn't just a word, it's the foundation of our marriage, and you've shattered it." Tears welled in her eyes, and for the first time I saw genuine regret on her face. "I'm sorry for hurting you. I never wanted to betray you. I got lost in the excitement. I thought it was harmless." "Harmless?" I echoed, incredulous. "You thought lying and sneaking around was harmless. You were playing with fire, Amanda. This isn't just a mistake. It's a choice you made over and over again." "I know it was stupid and I regret it," she cried, her voice breaking. "But I want to try and fix this. I want us to go to couples therapy to work through it together." The suggestion surprised me. Therapy. It was a step in the right direction, but did I even want to go down that road? "Do you really mean that, or is this just another desperate attempt to keep me from walking away?" "I mean it," she insisted, her eyes earnest. "I want to understand why I did it and how I can make it right. I love you and I want to fight for us." I felt a pang in my chest at her admission, but it wasn't enough to erase the hurt. "Love isn't just about saying the right words, it's about actions. You need to show me that you're committed to being honest. I can't go through this again." "I swear I'll do whatever it takes," she promised, her voice trembling. "Just give me a chance to prove it." I paused, weighing my options. The idea of therapy felt daunting, but I also recognized the potential held for healing. It was a chance to rebuild, to rediscover the connection we once shared. But could I truly trust her to be honest with me if we went down that path? "Okay," I said, my voice steady but filled with uncertainty. "I'm willing to try therapy, but I need to set some ground rules. I want full transparency. No more secrets. If you're texting Jake or anyone else, I need to know. If you're going out, I want to know who you're with and where you're going. We have to establish boundaries." She nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I can do that. I'll be an open book, I promise." It was a fragile agreement, but it felt like a tentative step towards something. After days of turmoil, I finally felt a flicker of hope. We set up an appointment for therapy and agreed to be open and honest with each other moving forward. As the days passed, I began to notice small changes in Amanda. She seemed more attentive, more aware of her actions. But the shadow of doubt lingered in the back of my mind. I wanted to believe her, but trust is a fragile thing, easily broken and difficult to rebuild. The emotional impact of the affair would take time to heal, and I knew that therapy wouldn't be a magic fix. We had a long road ahead, filled with tough conversations and painful realizations. But as we embarked on this journey together, I held on to the hope that maybe, just maybe, we could find our way back to each other. Despite everything, I felt determined to navigate this path. I wanted to reclaim my life, my happiness, and my sense of self. The road to healing wouldn't be easy, but I was ready to put in the work, even if it meant facing my own demons along the way. The weeks that followed were both challenging and exhausting. Therapy sessions became a new battleground where we faced our issues head-on. The therapist, a calm and insightful woman named Dr. Evans, guided us through our emotions, helping us untangle the mess that had become our marriage. Our first session was filled with tension. Amanda sat beside me, her leg bouncing nervously. I could feel the tightness in my chest as I prepared to lay bare our struggles. Dr. Evans asked us to describe how we felt in light of Amanda's infidelity. I took a deep breath, searching for the right words. "I feel betrayed," I said, my voice steady but laced with emotion. "I trusted Amanda with everything. I thought we were a team." I glanced at Amanda, who had tears in her eyes, and to find out she was lying, sneaking around, it just shattered me. Dr. Evans nodded, understanding reflecting in her gaze. "Amanda, what do you want to say in response to that?" I I know I messed up, she started, her voice trembling. "I didn't think about how my actions would hurt him. I got caught up in the excitement of someone new and I didn't appreciate what I had at home. I'm so sorry." As she spoke, I felt a mix of emotions. Part of me wanted to comfort her, to tell her it was okay, but the other part of me was still raw and bruised. "Sorry isn't enough," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "You've broken something that can't just be fixed with an apology." Dr. Evans interjected, guiding the conversation. "It's important to acknowledge that recovery is a process. Amanda, what steps are you willing to take to rebuild trust?" "I'll do anything," she said, her voice breaking. "I'll be completely open. I'll share my phone, my whereabouts, anything to show that I'm committed to making this right." As we continued to unpack our emotions in therapy, I found myself torn between wanting to believe her and being unable to shake the feeling of betrayal. Each session was a roller coaster of vulnerability and pain. Dr. Evans encouraged us to communicate our needs and fears openly. I tried to be honest, sharing my anxiety about Amanda's past choices and how they haunted me. One night after an especially emotional session, I came home feeling drained. I sat on the couch and watched Amanda as she prepared dinner. She seemed different, more engaged, more present. Yet I still felt a shadow of doubt hanging over us, a constant reminder of what had happened. "Do you think we can really get through this?" I asked, breaking the silence that hung between us. "I hope so," she replied, her voice soft. "I want to believe we can. I love you and I want to prove that to you every day." I wanted to believe her, but the nagging fear that loomed over me was hard to ignore. "It's just going to take time," I said, my voice cautious. "I need to see you making these changes, and I need you to understand that it's going to be hard for me." "I get it," she nodded, her expression earnest. "I know I have to earn your trust back, and I'm willing to do that." As the days turned into weeks, I began to notice small improvements. Amanda was more communicative and open about her feelings. She would check in with me more, share her plans, and even send me texts throughout the day to let me know she was thinking of me. It was a refreshing change, but I still felt a hesitance to fully let my guard down. One evening, as we were preparing for bed, I glanced over at her. "Have you heard from Jake?" I asked, wanting to address the elephant in the room. She stiffened, and I could see the tension return to her body. "No, I haven't. I told you I was cutting ties. And I mean it." "Okay," I said, but I wasn't entirely convinced. "I just need to know that you're being honest with me." I swear I am. I blocked him on everything. He's gone. Part of me wanted to believe her, but the fear of the unknown still lingered. I needed reassurance that she was fully committed to us and to breaking free from her past mistakes. With each passing day, the emotional impact of the affair began to soften, but it was still there, lurking in the background. I found myself reflecting on my own feelings, how to let go of the pain, how to forgive, and how to move forward. It was a heavy burden to carry, and there were moments when I felt overwhelmed by it all. One night after a long day, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, lost in thought. Amanda turned to me, her eyes wide with concern. "What are you thinking about?" "Just everything," I replied honestly. "I want to move on, but it's hard. I still think about what happened, and sometimes I feel like I'm holding onto a lot of anger and hurt." "I understand," she said softly, "and I don't want you to feel that way. I want to support you as we work through this together." I smiled weakly, appreciating her effort. "It's going to take time. I need to process how I feel. Sometimes I feel like I'm 2 steps forward and 1 step back." She reached for my hand, her touch warm and reassuring. "We can do this together. I'm here for you, and I'll keep doing what I can to prove that to you." That night, I felt a flicker of hope within me. The journey we were on was fraught with challenges, but there was also the potential for healing. I didn't know if we could fully recover from the scars of the past, but I was willing to try if Amanda was, too. We had embarked on a path toward healing, one filled with uncertainty, but also with the possibility of rediscovering what brought us together in the first place. As I lay there, hand in hand with the woman who had both broken and captivated my heart, I realized that our story was far from over, and maybe, just maybe, we could rewrite the ending. As the months rolled by, the journey of rebuilding our relationship continued. Therapy became a consistent part of our routine, a space where we could confront our emotions, share our fears, and slowly begin the process of healing. I started to see positive changes in Amanda. She was more present, more intentional, and more willing to be vulnerable. It was a shift that made me cautiously optimistic, but the echoes of betrayal still lingered in my mind. One evening, after a particularly productive session with Dr. Evans, I found myself feeling lighter than I had in a long time. Amanda and I sat on the couch, the air charged with a mix of hope and uncertainty. "You know, I think we're making progress," I said, glancing over at her. "I can see how hard you're trying." "I am," she replied, a smile breaking through the tension. "I want to be the partner you deserve. I'm so grateful you're willing to give us this chance." I nodded, feeling a warmth spread through me. "It's not easy, though. I still have moments when I feel the sting of what happened, and I don't want to carry that anger forever." Amanda reached for my hand, her grip reassuring. "I get it. I'll always carry the weight of my choices, but I want to show you every day that I'm committed to making this right." As the days turned into weeks, the emotional scars didn't disappear completely, but they began to transform into something more manageable. The rawness of betrayal started to fade, and while it was still a slow process, I found myself slowly letting go of the anger that had consumed me. I learned to communicate my feelings more effectively, to express my fears, and to seek reassurance when I needed it. One sunny Saturday afternoon, Amanda and I decided to take a walk through the park. The air was fresh, and the blooming flowers seemed to reflect the tentative hope I felt inside. As we strolled hand in hand, I noticed how comfortable we were with each other again, how laughter came more easily, how we could share stories without the weight of suspicion hanging over us. "Do you remember our first date?" Amanda asked, a playful grin spreading across her face. I chuckled, recalling the awkwardness of that night. "Of course, you spilled wine all over your dress, and I thought you'd never want to see me again." She laughed, her eyes sparkling. "And yet here we are. It's funny how life takes unexpected turns." I paused, looking into her eyes. "Yeah, it really is. I never thought we'd have to navigate something like this, but I'm grateful for the chance to rebuild." Amanda squeezed my hand, her expression turning serious. "I know I hurt you, and I can't change the past, but I want you to know that I'm committed to being the partner you need. I promise to keep working on myself and on us." The sincerity in her voice struck a chord in my heart. I realized that, while the road to recovery would still have its bumps, we were both committed to walking it together. We had made it through the toughest part, and it felt like we could finally begin to rebuild the foundation of our relationship. As the days turned into weeks, I continued to learn and grow alongside Amanda. We delved deeper into our therapy sessions, exploring our individual needs and desires. I articulated my need for transparency. She responded with openness, allowing me to feel more secure as we navigated this new chapter. Gradually, the painful memories began to transform into lessons. I learned the importance of communication, the value of vulnerability, and the necessity of trust. Amanda learned to appreciate the weight of her choices and the impact they had on our lives. One evening, as we sat down for dinner, I looked across the table at Amanda and felt a sense of peace settle over me. "You know, I never thought we'd get to this point after everything that happened," I said, my voice sincere, "but I genuinely feel us getting stronger." She smiled softly, tears welling in her eyes. "I've fought hard to get here. I just want to make sure I don't ever let you down again." I reached across the table, taking her hand. "You're not perfect, and neither am I, but we're trying, and that counts for something." That night, as we cuddled on the couch watching a movie, I realized that the journey of healing was ongoing. It wasn't about forgetting the past. It was about learning from it and choosing to rebuild stronger. In those moments, I felt a renewed sense of hope for our future. I knew that trust would take time to fully restore, but I also recognized the strength of our commitment to each other. As life continued to unfold, I held on to the lessons I had learned about love, forgiveness, and the power of vulnerability. The road ahead wouldn't be without its challenges, but I was ready to face them, hand in hand with the woman I had almost lost. In the end, I realized that relationships are a constant ebb and flow, requiring effort and understanding. I had learned that love, when nurtured and fought for, could endure even the deepest wounds. And as we moved forward together, I finally felt that we could rewrite our story into one of resilience and hope, one that could flourish despite the scars of our past.